Hello, good morning, good afternoon, good evening, whatever the case may be. Happy 2022 to you, and best wishes of good health. And it's got to be better than 2021. So, cheers, everybody. Wanted to kind of go over another digital mode application for HF. And this is really nice if you don't particularly care for the zombie mode of FT8 and FT4 and things like that. So what would you get if you actually combine, the deep decoding abilities of something like FT8 and FT4 with an application similar to like RTTY, actually text typing back and forth between operators, but having the ability to do that in a deep, decoding way of, weak signals. You'd get an application that's called VARAC. Really interesting mode that hopefully will grow in popularity. And in an upcoming release, version 3, you'll also get the ability to send pictures and file transfers back and forth as well. So let's dive into this, see what's all needed to get set up, kind of do a quick overview of operation on it, and hopefully spike some interest. One of the first things that you'll need to get this application set up and to work is you will need what's called the modem software, and that will be VARA HF. It's pretty simple download. I'll put links in the description to all of the needed applications, along with links to the Facebook group and to the forum, to a help site, and whatever else we come across along the way here. But basically what you'll need to do is grab VARA HF version 4.5.0 or higher. I think there'll be a new version of this coming out hopefully fairly soon. But you'll need to grab this, so go ahead and grab that from here, and it'll be in a zip file when it comes down. You just need to extract it and do the install. Pretty simple, straightforward. And then the other application that you will need will be the actual chat client itself, VARAC, the HF digital chat. And then again on that page you can download what's currently the beta version, and it will tell you that you do have to have the prerequisite of 4.50 or higher. So, and you also need OmniRig version 1.20. You can do this as well. I will show you in the setup. It won't give you the frequency display or the ability to click on frequencies to automate that, change frequencies over CAT. But there is a way you can set up just PTT keying to key the rig and then manually dial your frequency in via your radio or SDR application. So those are the two items that you're going to need right off the bat. And then, like I said, you also need OmniRig. So you can grab OmniRig from this site as well. There's a link here for it as well. If you click on it, it should take you over to the version 1.20. So those three pieces of software you will need to get started with this. So with that said, I've already got them. I've got them set up, and it's all basic installs. Let me open up my folder here. So this will originally come down as a zip file, I believe, and then just extract it go ahead and open up the file. It does suggest that you run this as an administrator. I would also suggest that you do follow those directions and run it as an administrator. And you can do this by right-clicking and run as administrator to do the setup. It will create a directory and install it called VARA. And just the default directory is perfectly fine. So once you get that set up, you're going to then get the actual application itself, the VARAC, and you can again get that from here. Just fill in the items needed here and click download, and you'll be able to download that. Once you do that, you can extract that folder, that application. There is no install. What you'll do is actually copy that folder into your VARA folder. So the current version of VARAC is the version 2.7.2. Again, version 3.0 will be coming out hopefully fairly soon with a few new features and really nice, actually some really nice features. You can read about that on the actual site. But just copy that extracted folder into, just make a subfolder, drag it into your VAR directory, and then in here you'll have the actual executable file that will start everything for you. By just clicking this, it'll start the HF modem, and then also if you opt to do the monitor, the second monitor to watch messages come back and forth, from other people, you'll be able to do that as well. It'll auto start that as well. I'll show you how to do that. And then also another file in here that you'll want to take note of is the frequencies configuration file. And this file you can edit to add frequencies of your choice, suggested frequencies as well, to the list of available frequencies, that shows up in VARC to begin with. And you can edit that by just, using Notepad. You can open it with Notepad and basically just type in the complete frequency to add to your list. And then once you do that, just, save it. Whoops, looks like I'm going to go into a transmit mode on a beacon. Sorry. I'm going to have to disable that here in a second. Just save this after you edit it. Don't change the file name or anything. Just leave it as is. Just save it. And then those will show up in your actual application. So let's get over to the actual application. Again, I'll put the quick link guide. I'll put a link to that in the description of the video, along with the links for the other pieces of software that you need to actually get this set up and going. So basically what you do after you, well here, let me just shut this down and we'll do a launch. What I've done is created a shortcut on my desktop that points to that exe file, which again, like I said, I just drug the extracted unzipped directory of VARAC version 2.7.2 into the VARA folder that gets created when you install the HF modem portion of the software. And then just, make a shortcut to it, basically is all you need to do, or a quick link, whatever. And then once you do that, you can just launch the VARAC, and it will bring up and automatically start the HF modem software. Whoops, double clicked it. Actually, I think I triple clicked it. It'll automatically bring up and start everything for you. So let me make sure about something here. Yeah. All right, I want to close it. Sorry. I got click happy. Too many applications. So let's restart this. There we go. which one of these guys is my monitor window. Okay. Means I just totally messed up my whole screen layout. Sorry. Alright. Come on, get down here. This grabbing stuff in Windows 11 with these rounded corners and stuff is a little flaky at times. Alright, so basically the first thing you'll need to do is go to the VARA Setup tab. The default command port is fine, the default TCP port. And the data port is also fine for default. You're going to enter your call sign. Registration key, if you want to use some of the other features and WinLink and an HF modem, beyond the 500 Hz bandwidth, which is what just about all of VARAC AC is using, is the 500 Hz bandwidth option. You'll notice that there's a 2300 Hz option here as well. In order to get the 2300 option to work, you will have to donate, or actually not to donate, but buy a license key, and then you'll put that in here. You do not need, in order to get this set up and working, if you're just going to use the 500 Hertz version of this, like I said, is pretty much the default and what most people are using, you don't need to do that. You will get a neg screen that pops up on you, and you can just kind of move that off the screen or close it, whatever you need to do there. But you want to allow it to check for updates, and that's pretty much it for that. The other thing you'll need to do is set up your sound card. There's guides for this for the 7300s, for the Flex, for EE-SDR rigs now. Basically, the SDR type rigs, what I'm running, the expert rigs, you can use the virtual audio cable alongside of RigSync, and I did a separate video for that that'll show you how to do that if you're using an EE-SDR, Sun SDR radio transceiver. But you'll need to grab your audio in and your audio out that you're going to use, and then you can set your drive level once you get that configured by hitting the tune button. It'll go into transmit mode, and you can set up your let me make sure I'm not going to bother anybody here. I turned the beacon off. Okay. You can set up your drive levels and everything by just your audio levels. Actually, let me go over to mic meter. So it's where I've got my audio level set for software that I'm currently using. And let me get out of this before I drive somebody up a wall. Okay. And where's my second one? So you'll need to set that up. In the first one, you're going to leave the waterfall on. I do have a second version running, or second copy of this actually running. It doesn't require installing it again. Basically, just grab your VAR HF folder, make a subfolder. I called mine, I'll show you in here. I called mine monitor, or VAR MON for the monitor. This one will allow me to, if I detect or start, if it locks on a decode of somebody, the text will appear in this black box up here. Not a lot of activity going on here on 20 meters this morning. Band's kind of crappy still too, so hopefully when we go to fire this up and test it, we'll get, maybe somebody will be lucky enough to maybe get a beacon in here, or actually connect to somebody and show you how this works. I'm hoping. We can try 40 as well. But you really, to get started, you only need the one copy running, which is the default. To create the second one to start it, like I said, just copy your standard directory of VARA that gets created when you do the install. Just make another subfolder inside that folder, and call it monitor if you want to. There we go. So we did hear a beacon, the HB9 AVK, on 20 meters here this morning. I'm in the US. I didn't hear it, and I really didn't even see it in the waterfall, so pretty deep decode. And then in VarAC, you're going to set up your PTT and your functionalities for that. This is where OmniRig, if you want the frequency display, which will only currently work by using OmniRig version 1.20. If you use the cat command for PTT, you're not going to get the frequency readout here. It'll just come up as showing NA or RB blank on you. But I am using OmniRig, and then you're going to set your path to the executable, which is actually the executable for the VAR HF modem, and it's in that folder. And the default port, like I said before, the 8300, which shows up right here as well. Okay. If you want to run the monitor option, which is the optional window that I have here, the optional second version of VAR HF running, you'll need to put in the path statement for there and that VARA executable itself as well. It will automatically give it a port number of 8350 so that it does not interfere with the original version, the original first copy of the software running. So again, we can look at my directory. Let me get back to that. Hold on a second here. So here you'll see the first version, which is here. There's the executable, which is in my C drive, the VARA VAREXE. And then you'll see that I also have a folder that I just basically copied this whole thing into this monitor window, or into this monitor folder, the VAR monitor. I just, if you open this up, you'll see that that's where the second executable, if you want to run the monitor configuration, is applied to. And again, the port number will be automatically set for you, and it will launch both of them when you start the actual VARAC application. It'll launch both modem windows for you, the monitor window and the other window. I said I am using OmniRig. Nothing special about that. Just download the version 1.20 that's linked in the page, and also I'll put a link to it in the description as well. Nothing special with that really to set up. My particular radio emulates the Kenwood TS480, so that's why I'm showing the rig type as a 480 here. And then just set up your COM ports, your baud rate, your parity, your data bits and your stop bits. If you're using RTS or DTR, if they're high or low or not functional. One thing by default, I think that if I recall correctly, the default polling interval millisecond rate that OmniRig is going to look for getting information from your particular radio for frequency and for mode changes and things like that, I believe is 100 milliseconds. There's been a little bit of talk about this, and that low rate can possibly cause some interference with the radio and software switching between transmit and receive once you go into a connection. So it's kind of suggested to raise that polling rate. I think 500 or 550 is what most of the guys are running. I bumped mine to 795. I mean, once you're on that frequency, you really don't need to keep polling the radio, for frequencies. You make the change and you're pretty much staying there. If you change it again, it's going to change it on the fly. It doesn't need to keep polling the radio at that point. So raising that certainly won't hurt anything and possibly help you. The timeout milliseconds, I think by default, when I installed this, was something like 4,000. Bring that down to 100, which is the lowest it'll go. And you should be good there. Again, if you just want to use cat control for PTT and not have the ability to get functions of frequency readout and going through this list and clicking on it and actually setting the radio to that frequency, you can just key the radio to go into transmit mode with a PTT functionality. Again, doing that is not going to give you the display for frequency readout or the ability to change frequency from the software. You'll have to manually change it in your radio only. That's the only place you're going to be able to change it, and the mode as well. For most people, it's going to be the 7300 uses digital upper mode. You just want to use an upper mode for this. If your radio only uses a sideband, you want to be an upper sideband on all of them. 40, 80, whatever. Just like most other digital applications, that functionality is going to be the same. Beacon interval. If you turn on the beacon function here, which is done by selecting this, and here's a couple guys calling CQ, so we'll try to work one of these in a minute. Actually, same guy. It's called it twice. The beacon interval will, if you turn on beacons here, will send a beacon notification every 15 minutes. That's kind of the default. Typically they say here in the US to give your call sign every 10 minutes. So if in QSO, this broadcast interval will initiate a call sign sequence for you. That's going to pull that information again. Make sure you set that up in the setup over here, the call sign. Okay, it's going to be needed. It won't function without that anyways. But you can change that rate as well if need be. By default, it's 10 minutes. And then basically the way this works, one other thing. You can set up predefined messages in here as well. There's some information about this. I would really suggest you kind of read this welcome message thing, which is nice. If you set these up and then put the tag features in here with your name and location and QTH, if you have the logging feature enabled here, when it decodes somebody, it's going to populate that call sign, the report, the band, the name, the QTH, and the locator. That will automatically get logged for you, which is nice. You can set up an away message if you're just doing beacons. Again, suggestion, fill in the tag fields, and I'll put a link to the tag fields. A little note about the tag fields. There's a document written about that. I'll put that in the description as well. Your canned messages, it's regular free-flowing text here, and I also did another one on logging, which is set by my 73 message. When I actually close with somebody, it's gonna fill this in again for them. And I'm not sure where this guy is. I do have the beam pointed 40 degrees. 20 meters is not that great right now. It's not that great at all. We can try a connection with him. Basically, what I'm going to do is he's already called CQ, so if I double click him, I'll go into transmit mode, and let me get you some audio here too, so you can hear what this sounds like. Oops, I'm going to have to open these guys back up, sorry. Hopefully, it may not connect to him. Yeah, it's not gonna. I've got a timeout, so it's gonna try 15 times, and then if it doesn't connect, and I think I moved the beam off of him too. Like I said, he may be pointed out EU as well. Oh wait, we may have a connection here. It took a little longer on that sequence, which is no, it's not going to. All right, so we'll wait. We'll call CQ. We'll try it on 40 meters. Let me abort this. All right. There is somebody else in here, though. Oh, it might be down the band. Okay. Actually, you know what? We could try clicking on one of these beacons. Now, the beacons that show up in the list over here, a lot of times, these guys may not be around. They may just be running in beacon mode. So we may not get a text reply back, especially if we get the I'm away message from them. But we should be able to get a signal report and some other information from them as well. I can show you how that works here real quick. We'll try the OZ1. Fairly pointed in that direction, so let's see what happens here. Yeah, I heard it in the background a little bit. Sounds like he was there. Or not. Yeah, there we go. I shouldn't say it sounds like he was there. His beacon is still online anyways. So let's see if he's actually... Yeah, you see, he's away. So we'll just leave him a message. I'm just going to leave him the New Year's message here. We'll get his signal report. I'll send the signal report back, and we'll log that. It'll log it automatically. You'll see that, his information is filled in here. Hopefully we get his name and his QTH. Hopefully that'll pop up here in a minute. This is a pretty bad connection. You can look at the transfer rate. The baud rate is down. I have seen with some of the really good connections up above a gigabit on transfer speed, or 1,000 bits per second or higher, which is nice. Yeah, so I'm at 20. No, he was receiving me at -20, and I received him at -16. And it's going to log the band. Hopefully he's got it set up to give us a locator and possibly a name and a QTH here as well. We'll see. Said the 20 meters is pretty rough right now. Guess it's a good test. Yeah, it doesn't look like it. Whoops, sorry. Doesn't look like it. So let's just disconnect from him. It's just initiating back and forth to see if we're both still connected. I'm not sure if you can actually hear that. It's really weak. That's a minus, 20 dB. Let's just go ahead and... You can free flow text in here, and then hit the send button, and it'll send that. You can also send gestures and tags as well. I'm not gonna. Let me do a disconnect here with him real quick. And basically, if you let this finish. Basically, if you hit this, you can type in these tags or gestures, and it'll, the gestures will, like this TU with the exclamation point, which initiated this up here that I got from him. Okay, there we go. Disconnected. You can do sounds as well. Type in the word ding, will make a ding sound, and Disco gives you the 3 ding sounds. You can QSY up and down. It does do an offset of plus or minus 750 hertz. So if you type in, QSYU, QSYD, it's going to send a message, and a little box will pop up on the other station to, let them know that, hey, let's move off the calling frequencies. The calling frequencies are the ones that typically end in .000, and 20 meters has been pretty much the most popular calling frequency for this application so far. Although I've made quite a few contacts on 40 as well. So speaking of 40, let's actually go over there and see if we can actually find somebody to try to work. Again, that list that I made. If you look at this list here, let me slide this over. You'll see that that's where it's pulling these frequencies from. Again, just type in the complete frequency, and then it'll populate it. Save it, and it'll populate it in this list when you when you go to do the selection of frequency and band. So being as I am using OmniRig, that frequency is going to show up here, like I said, and I should be able to click this, go to, let's try 40 meters, and you'll notice that my radio automatically changed to 40 meters as well, and on that frequency. And if I go to, if I go up to the 750 frequency, the radio will follow it as well. So let's go back down to 40 meter calling frequency. Let me get on the right antenna. Let me let my auto AGC settle down here, and there we go. We'll try to, we'll see if we can, I don't hear anything going on here. Normally I would wait for a while to see. I don't want to make this video too long though, so let's, let me bring this sound down of VA3 a little bit, so it's not in the background too much. Hopefully it's not been too bad. Let's just try a CQ call here and see if we can get anybody to answer. Basically what it'll do is it'll do 3 batches of calling CQ, and then we'll wait and see if anybody's around to answer. Hopefully there is. If not, we can go back over to 20 and try it there as well. Really hoping to make a contact with a physically live person instead of these guys that are just running beacon modes, just so you can see how the text stuff works back and forth. Be nice to make one too with a decent signal back and forth so we can... Oh wait, we got an incoming call. Oh, there we go. So mine is going to automatically send this information that I put in that canned window. This looks a little bit better on, it's not that great, but it's better bit rate than we were getting before. Better baud rate. Can't type today. I gotta move the mic out of the way of the keyboard here too, so hold on a second. I'm just gonna abbreviate this. You can just hit enter and it'll queue that message. So you can see that he does have his canned messages set up for the tags. Once this, there you go, it just populated all that information into here with his grid locator, his QTH, and his name. And then that'll automatically get logged as well. So we're just doing the handshaking back and forth. We'll get ready to send this message. Should be sending now, or parts of it. And you can see in the monitor window up here how that's being decoded as well. Hopefully we're not locked. May have to, oh wait. We're just handshaking back and forth here. Let me send him the rig information. I'm sorry. Let's do this. So you can put your canned message in here. So I'll send him the working Actually, he's going to get my name and everything else here again, and because I did hit both those tags. If he starts to type, you'll get a little box that'll pop up here that says, there you go. Okay, like that. So he's typing a message now. So we'll see that message pop up here hopefully in the next few seconds to a minute or so, depending on how fast this connection rate. You can see that it has come up a little bit. So there's our working conditions, and we should be receiving his message now, I think. Yeah, there we go. So there, non-zombie mode, okay? Actual communication, typing and conversing with somebody. Not just letting it run in a zombie mode of sending a signal report in a locator and a 73 and see you later. Can actually, have a little conversation going back here and forth here. So we'll keep this short. Oops, I can't type. You can't right click on these and do an autocorrect. So he's running an FT991 at 100 watts. I think I'm running, I'll have to check here, running about 50 watts or so, maybe a little bit more. That was a quick one here. Sorry. When I do this, I lose my focus on the other screens here. Yeah, we're just waiting for him to reply again. Yeah, I'm running about 55 or 60 watts here. Let's just go ahead and send him a 73. So you'll get that handshaking going back and forth if it's sitting idle, just to make sure that the connection stays, live with both ends. If it doesn't get the acknowledgement after a while, it'll drop and do the disconnect. So you can see your signal to noise ratio on that last transmission from him. Shows up down over here as well. My CPU usage is a little high, but I am running OBS Studio, recording this along with some other applications. I've got, I've got some web pages open in the background as well. So there we go. He replied back and disconnected, and that's logged. So hopefully that kind of gives you a quick overview of this non-zombie mode of digital HF communication. Something you can actually talk back and forth with instead of just, like I said, giving a signal report and a see you later. Very similar to using FT8 for the deep cycle decoding with a combination of RTTY. So again, hope this video was helpful. Hope to see some of you guys on this new mode, and I will post links to all of it in the comment section description of the video. 7-3, take care. All the best from N8SDR.